men who organized the rally walked with springing steps toward the speaker's stand. On the left, Roy Wilkins with A. Philip Randolph.
I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up and live out the true meaning of its creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal.
It's like a prayer. You wanted to weep as he spoke. His words were so powerful.
The words gripped our nation during the 1963 March for Jobs and Freedom, as 250,000 people gathered in Washington demanding civil rights and economic justice. Nearly 60 were from Minnesota.
We left at very early in the morning, 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, got to D.C., and everything was very quiet. We were there, we greeted our congressional delegation. They were very sweet. Hubert was himself very pleasant, happy to treated us well.
Dr. Josie Johnson was 32 then, a mother of 3, working for the Minneapolis Urban League.
It's sort of the dream that we all have about America. You hope, you dream, you pray, you wish that things that are fair and just will happen in your lifetime. And that's what Dr. King spoke about that day. And there was such a hush over that crowd.
I have a dream. My 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. I have a dream.
The speech by the Reverend Martin Luther King Jr. and the march set the stage for the passage of the Civil Rights Act in 1964. No lawmaker was more responsible for that legislation than Hubert H. Humphrey, who 15 years before, as a young Minneapolis mayor, was thrust onto the national stage by his speech to the 1948 Democratic Convention.
I feel I must rise at this time to support the minority report, a report that spells out our democracy, a report that the people of this country can and will understand, and a report that they will enthusiastically acclaim on the great issue of civil rights.
I was only 2 years old when Hubert Humphrey gave that speech in 1948. You have no idea how many times I watched a tape of that speech when I was a boy growing up in Arkansas, because I knew that that led directly to the passage of the Civil Rights Act, to the passage of the Voting Rights Act, to the passage of the Open Housing Act, and eventually to the election of Barack Obama as President of the United States.
As mayor, senator, vice president, Humphrey was known for his courage, determination, and commitment, qualities needed in more leaders of today and tomorrow.
This school's namesake, Hubert Humphrey, regarded passage of the Civil Rights Act and his work on issues related to civil rights and social justice as the crowning achievements of his political career, for good reason. And it behooves us as an institution that serves as a living memorial to Hubert Humphrey to celebrate those achievements, but more importantly, to consider those achievements in terms of the challenges that we confront in the future on issues of human rights and social justice.
What we need, in my judgment, is that kind of courage again. That's what I'm speaking of. Courage to speak out, courage to express a position of protecting this democracy, of making sure that people are treated justly, and that we offer the opportunities we claim we offer in America
4 years after the March on Washington, Dr. King visited the University of Minnesota and talked about a time of transition. The civil rights movement had grown and evolved, but even after the Civil Rights Act passed, de facto segregation continued, and riots plagued urban neighborhoods.
I'm still convinced that nonviolence is the most potent weapon available to the Negro in the struggle for freedom and human dignity. And I can see nothing more harmful, more detrimental to the Negro himself than to come to the conclusion that violence should be a strategy for social change.
Today, with a new generation of young people, 50 years after the historic march, there is a call to recommit and renew our pursuit of civil rights and social justice.
I just want to emphasize the fact that it is important for us to be committed to justice, equality, opportunity, and to maintain, to convert that dream into reality. Because you can dream forever, but it has to become real for our children to follow a belief system